السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أنبياء الله جميعا وعلى سيدهم وخاتمهم حبيب إله العالمين أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين المعصومين، وعلى علي أمير المؤمنين وقائد الغر المحجلين، وعلى البضعة الطاهرة فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، وعلى سبطي نبي الرحمة وسيدي شباب أهل الجنة الحسن والحسين عليهما السلام، وعلى علي بن الحسين ومحمد بن علي وجعفر بن محمد وموسى بن جعفر وعلي بن موسى ومحمد بن علي وعلي بن محمد والحسن بن علي والخلف الهادي المهدي عجل الله تعالى فرجه وسهل مخرجه. عباد الله، أوصيكم وأوصي نفسي بتقوى الله ولزوم أمره. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. صدق الله العلي العظيم. Two important commands in this verse in chapter 5, verse number 8. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كونوا قوامين لله. Be steadfast for God. Stand with God. Stand for His principles and His values. Stand and bear witness for His oneness and His authority and His sovereignty. This is one part. Followed by شهداء بالقسط, bearing witness to justice. Two interdependent things. The Quran draws a correlation, a connection, a parallel between these two things. It's not enough just to believe in God. It's not enough just to say, I submit to God, I'm a Muslim, I'm a believer. God says, besides submission to me, قوامين لله, standing, be steadfast for God and His authority and His Tawheed, monotheism. I want you to do something else. Your journey would not be completed until is joined with something else, and that is shuhada bil qist, bearing witness to justice, to stand for justice. Otherwise, religion would have no meaning. Being steadfast for God, this is something spiritual in your heart, in your mind. But when you stand for justice, this is something practical. This is the fruit of your religion. This is why you are Muslim. Because you stand for justice. You don't accept abuse. You don't accept corruption. You don't accept dhulm, injustice, and wrongdoing anywhere. Neither you accept it for yourself nor for others. And therefore, in the school of Ahlul Bayt, divine justice is one of the main principles, al-adl al-ilahi. Not just that we believe God is just. Of course God is just. But we believe that His justice reaches us, reflected on our behavior. So we have to learn justice from Him. We have to emulate justice from God. And if we don't do this, our religion and our faith is incomplete. Something wrong with it. Something fundamental is missing from it. Divine justice has to be reflected on our justice, human justice too. We have to emulate His justice. We should not accept any wrongdoing anywhere, coming from any person. Be it our family members, be it our neighbors, be it our tribe, or be it someone else. And my friends, the most challenging task in this life is for a person to be neutral, to be fair, to be just, to be unbiased in his views, in his stands, in his judgments, in his analysis, in his opinion about someone or something. It's very difficult. Very difficult to be fair and just. It's not easy. Believe me, it's not easy. Even judges today who are trained to be fair and just and non-biased, sometimes they fall in the trap of being biased and a prejudice, and they take sides. They become emotional. We are emotional beings. It is very difficult to keep yourself away from your personal emotions and you give a right opinion, a right judgment, not being judgmental, not to quickly rush to judging people. This is very difficult. It's not easy at all. It's not easy. And this requires a lot of skills, a lot of dedication, a huge amount of faith, a huge amount of connection with God, and a huge amount of intelligence and maturity to stay away from being judgmental, to be able to be unprejudiced, unbiased, and sympathetic with others even though they disagree with you, even though those others are not your people. They are different people, different religion, different race, different color. But to be able to be sympathetic to them, it's not easy. It's not easy. But that is the core of religion. The core of religion is not just we pray Friday prayers and we leave, and we are the old same person. We haven't changed. The core of religion is not the prayers, my friends. Prayers are mandatory, but the prayers is not the final goal. The final goal is to refine myself. The final goal of religion, the ultimate goal of religion, is to be true human being, not to be prejudiced or biased or judgmental of others. And here we require two things. Two important things are needed, always needed, every day needed, to be able not to be judgmental. So when I speak of people, when I judge people, I judge them positively. I don't do injustice to them. I don't hurt them. Two things are important. One is full knowledge and full understanding of the people, of the issue, of the conflict, of the debate, of the matter that we are discussing. We have to have full knowledge of it. Half knowledge does not work. Half knowledge destroys. It would not build. It would not solve the problem. It would further complicate the problem. When you have half knowledge about something, you are not fully aware of it. This is why I say to many people, don't debate with others because you don't know about this subject. Don't give your opinion about this subject because you don't know it very well. Do you know everything about it? You don't. You only hear part of the story. When a husband and wife, they come to you, they have a fight, they have a disagreement, you have to listen to both. Don't judge the situation if you don't completely understand the situation from both sides, not just one side. Even if that person who comes to you is truthful, is your friend, he comes to the mosque, he's practicing Muslim, he's whatever, tell him, I have to listen to the other side, sorry. I need to get the full information, full understanding of the situation. Whether that situation is social, family matters, financial matters, political matters, whether it is doctrinal regarding religion, regarding school of thought, You must have full awareness, full understanding of the story. You must do your homework very well. Investigate, research, read. And then you may give your opinion. First-hand experience is important. Not just to hear. Sometimes you must go and visit the place, visit the location. Have you seen sometimes in the news when something happens, the prime minister of that country, the king of that country, the president of that country, he travels to that area, though remote area, but he travels to see firsthand for himself. Rather than reading reports, he goes there, he investigates himself. First-hand experience is important. Because we might hear, nowadays we hear from every direction. And many of these hearings are gossips, merely gossips, especially when it comes from social media. Social media is a dangerous source of news. Not a reliable source of news. Unreliable. Gossiping is not a source of news. Don't judge people when you hear gossip. Don't allow yourself. Have full control over yourself. Say, I'm not going to judge this person or this family because I hear this gossip about him or her. Don't. Imam Ali says, بين الحق والباطل أربعة أصابع, between truth and falsehood, 4 fingers. How come 4 fingers? Between truth and falsehood, 4 fingers? It has to be thousands of miles. But he says 4 fingers. This is a metaphor. 4 fingers, it's here, between your eyes and your ears. Of course, if your face is too big, then it might be 6 fingers. But average size is 4 fingers. Okay? Between what you hear, which could be falsehood, and what you see yourself first-hand experience. You see it yourself. It's different. This is the difference between falsehood and truth. We hear many things. Maybe the majority of what we hear is unreliable. Gossiping, made up stories. But when you hear yourself, when you go yourself and investigate, it's different. Especially when it comes to religions and schools of thought, madahib, and doctrines. We cannot judge them by what we hear from a speaker here or there, or what we read on social media nowadays. We can't. We have to have a bigger control and say, we need to go to their place of worship and ask them. If you want to learn about any religion, any madhab, any school of thought, the best way to do that is to go to the place of worship, to the synagogue, to the mosque, to the church, to the temple. Visit the temple yourself. Read their books, not books that are written about them by others, sometimes by their enemies. Speak to their scholars, not other scholars who do not like them, who always judge them. Speak to their own scholars. Sit with the scholars, their own mosques, their own places of worship, their own books, their own articles, and then you may say, now I have some knowledge about this religion or this sect or this school of thought or this doctrine. That is the way of doing it. Many books are written, anti-Shia books. When I sit in my library and I read these books by some people who consider themselves scholars, hafiz, memorizers, but they have no conscience. They work for the governments. He could be memorizing the whole Quran from cover to cover, but then he stands in the Grand Mosque of Mecca and he says we have to have peace with our enemies. Enemies who took out the land, occupied the land, still occupiers. He justifies peace with them. What benefit memorizing the Quran is going to do? Even if you memorize the Old Testament and the New Testament and the Psalm of David and the Holy Quran and the books of Abraham, it would not help. It would not help you. It's not about memorizing the Quran. It's about understanding the Quran first and adhering to the principles of the Quran. Adhering. Imam al-Sadiq says about those scholars who work for the Sultan, for the corrupt political establishments, he says about them, حفظوا صروفه وضيعوا حدوده. When it comes to the Quran, they read it beautifully. Beautiful pronunciation. The vocalization of the Quran, beautiful. But when it comes to implementing the spirit of the Quran, they turned their back to it. They betrayed the Quran. They betrayed this book. They are not implementing the principles and the teachings and the guidance of this book. So we have to be fair, to be just. Any religion, my friends, any religion, any madhab, we must go to them, listen to them, read their books, ask their scholars, not other scholars. And then you will find the truth. You will find the truth. God says, أن تصيبوا فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة in Surah Al-Hujurat chapter 49. فتبينوا, investigate, be discerning, be careful. فتبين, be careful in your judgment, because you might hurt the community. You might tell lies against them. And you don't intend to tell lies, of course. You don't intend. But because you did not do good research, you depended on gossip, therefore you're going to judge them negatively. You're going to speak ills about them. فتبينوا أن تصيبوا قوما بجهالة فتصبحوا على ما فعلتم نادمين. After that you're going to regret. Why did I say this? I should have waited before I issued my judgment. Now, my friends, today the general talk is about peace in the Middle East. Very good. Who dislikes peace? Nobody dislikes peace. We all want peace. But my friends, when we go and visit the Holy Land and visit the Gaza Strip and visit the occupied territories, what you're going to see happening to the Palestinians? Nothing but suffering. Nothing but suffering. Nothing but injustice to them. Their homes, their ancient homes, a house that has been inherited by their fathers and grandfathers. Several generations live in that house for 70 years, being bulldozed, being destroyed. Their children being killed. They shot at the children. Here in America, they killed a black person, and justly, of course. George Floyd. We feel sorry for him. We stand with him. We support him, and we condemn those 4 policemen who killed him and murdered him. But in Palestine, this story happens every single day. You don't hear about it. Many of the people, Palestinians, who were born and raised in Palestine, they live in refugee camps today. They have been displaced from their homes. Some of them left Palestine 50 years ago, 60 years ago. They live in refugee camps in Jordan, in Lebanon, in Syria, in other countries, and they have no right to go back to their motherland, to their homeland. Is this peace? Is this justice? Is this the peace that we are seeking? Peace based on what? Peace based on aggression, on occupation? It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen. People are not going to leave their land. Every community, every people, being Jews, being Christians, being Muslims, being atheists, being white, being black, they love their land. They are not going to compromise over their land. And they have to return to their land. This is their ancestors' land. This is their country. Nobody has the right to drive them out and to destroy their homes and bulldoze their homes. So when we go to these areas and we see firsthand, we have full knowledge, then we know the whole story. Then we know that all this peace, speaking about peace, is a baloney. It's fake. It's not real. It's not genuine. These are photo ops. There are elections in America, elections in Israel, elections here and there. Photo ops. These are not genuine steps. Genuine steps is one, Palestinians have their own sovereignty, their own land, their own country, their own identity, and their own dignity, and their own safety and security. Then we speak about peace. So number one, informed decision. Number two, in order for us to have a good opinion about any issue, is to be fair, to be just, to be unbiased. Imam Ali alayhi salam says, Bunay, he says this to his son Imam Hassan, Bunay, اجعل نفسك ميزانا فيما بينك وبين غيرك. Make yourself a scale, a standard between yourself and others. فأحبب لغيرك ما تحب لنفسك واكره له ما تكره لها. When you put yourself between you and others, make yourself the scale, make yourself the standard, make yourself the measurement, mizan, then you're going to love for others what you love for yourself and to hate for them what you hate for yourself. If occupation is bad, you don't like it, then don't occupy people's land and people's homes. If act of theft, you don't like it for yourself, you don't want someone to steal your belongings, to steal your car, to steal your money, to steal your bank account, then don't steal from others. If abuse and torture and persecution is bad, then don't do it for others. Don't. Love for them what you love. You love for yourself freedom and liberty and peace of mind and independence and dignity and prosperity and richness. Then you have to love it for others. And you hate for yourself to be occupied by a stranger, by a foreigner. You hate for others to interfere in your life. So don't interfere in their life, in their business. You hate for others to disrespect you, so don't respect anyone. We have to be fair. And we should not be influenced by any human consideration or any human pressure. We must speak the truth. كونوا قوامين لله شهداء بالقسط. شهداء بالقسط, bearing witness to justice, standing for justice. Don't be intimidated by pressure of your community, your tribe, even your religion. Be a free person. Speak the truth. Don't look at the human considerations. Don't look at the pressure. Don't look at intimidations, blackmailing, threats. Speak the truth. Speak the truth. Even if it goes against your own people. And speak the truth in favor of someone who could be your enemy, but you are speaking the truth. Do not let hatred ولا يجرمنكم شنآن قوم على ألا تعدلوا اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. Do not let your hatred of a group, of a family, to do injustice to them. Don't. Have bigger control over your desires and your emotions. And say the truth, speak the truth. اعدلوا هو أقرب للتقوى. As I said in the beginning, it's not easy to be fair and just. It's not easy, my friends. And I'm not saying it's not easy for the lay person. Those scholars that I read their books, when I see the way they stereotype, negatively stereotype the school of Ahlul Bayt, I say to myself, imagine this person is hafiz of the Quran, hafiz of memorizer of the Hadith, spent 50 years, 60 years researching nothing but Quran and Hadith, yet at the end of the day he cannot control his prejudice. He is inclined to his tribe, to his family, to his race, to his school of thought, to his cousins. He's not neutral. He cannot maintain neutrality. So if the scholar is biased, what would you say about lay people who did not go to school, who did not study the Quran? So it's not easy. I know it's not easy, but this is our task. This is our struggle. This is our challenge. We must work hard to have an unbiased opinion, unbiased stand about any matter. Even if we speak about our enemies, we have to be fair with them. Imam Ali was fair to his enemies. He would not accuse them of doing something that they didn't do. He wouldn't. He says, yes, I am not in agreement with them. He was asked about the Kharijites who murdered him. Kharijites murdered Imam Ali. He was asked, are they kafir? He said, no, min al-shirki farru. They run away from heresy and polytheism. They are not kafir, they are Muslims. Munafiqun, are they hypocrites? He said, no. They are not hypocrites. لا يذكرون الله إلا قليلا. Because hypocrites never mentioned God. Those people mentioned God. They said, then why? Who are they? He said, إخواننا. They are our brethren. بغوا علينا. Transgressed against us. So we needed to stop them. So he never accused them of something that they didn't do. He called them a brethren. Ultimately they murdered him, but he did not speak ill about them. He said those people are confused. Don't we have confused people in this society? Especially when it comes to religion, the confusion is bigger and bigger. Don't we have thousands of the youth, Muslim youth worldwide, they joined ISIS? Is because ISIS legitimate? It's not legitimate. ISIS is the most illegitimate organization, terrorist organization. But because those people were confused. The young generation were lost and confused. They didn't have the right leadership. They were frustrated. Most of them did not go to school. Most of them did not have jobs. Most of them were neglected by their parents and their families. So to vent their frustration, they joined a terrorist organization. Same thing with the Kharijites. وَلَا يَجْرِمَنَّكُمْ شَنَآنُ قَوْمٍ عَلَىٰ أَنْ لَا تَعْدِلُوا اعْدِلُوا هُوَ أَقْرَبُ لِلتَّقْوَى. Today is the last day of the month of Muharram 1442. Saturday tomorrow is the first day of the month of Safar. We ask our Lord, our protector, our sustainer, to increase his protection on mankind, on the Bashariya, Insaniya, entire mankind. Protect them against this virus, against sickness, against the deterioration of the mind, the soul, the social situation. May Allah hold our hands and strengthen our hearts to follow Him, to follow His path, and to be united, and to be good to each other. اللهم اغفر للمؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات تابع اللهم بيننا وبينهم بالخيرات إنك مجيب الدعوات إنك غافر الخطيئات إنك ماحي السيئات وجاعلها حسنات إنك على كل شيء قدير وعجل اللهم في فرج إمامنا صاحب العصر والزمان وإلى أرواح المؤمنين والمؤمنات ثواب الفاتحة مع الصلاة على محمد وآل محمد.